What's up? Welcome to On the King's Dime, episode number 2. We are live. It's late Sunday night, Father's Day today.
It is.
Yeah.
Busy day.
Yeah. I'm getting some choppy audio from you at the moment. It's pretty crazy. Just give us
Yeah, same. I'm getting some
yeah.
pretty bad audio from you too.
Oh, that's all right. We'll power on. We'll power ahead. The Boomers, obviously, tonight, they beat Canada. It was a good win. Bogut played well. He played pretty well. It was good to see. Just do
Yeah, man.
a quick sort of wrap up, 10, 15 minute sort of chat. Pretty fired up. Andy was pretty fired up. He had to go and work out at the gym. It was good.
I did. It was a must-have. It's kept me energized for the day.
Yeah.
But Bogut, I think Bogut went off with a broken nose as well.
Yeah, did it end up being broken in the end?
I don't know. He came back and played, so it couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah. The commentator said it was broken, so I'm really hoping it wasn't broken.
But you can still play with a broken nose, can't you?
Yeah, but like in a mask and like your Joel Embiid styles, it's a pain in the backside.
Phantom of the Boomers.
Yeah, so it was a good win. Obviously, we'll go through that. Did Bogus end up starting? I think he did, didn't he?
No.
It wasn't. Landau got the start. Yeah, Landau continues on his merry way.
Did a little bit less ball secure this time. Not in places that they thought he was going to be in, but was relatively good as a whole round player. I think Aaron Baines played really well. 4 from 7 from the field. Hit the free throws. Had really good putbacks, defended well. It was a little bit of a weird kind of flow game, wasn't it? It was the first half was pretty well dominated, and then the third quarter kind of proverbial the bed, and then probably the best fourth quarter of Australian basketball I've seen ever. Even against the Americans, it felt like this was just a better team effort as opposed to Patty Mills scoring the last 13 points.
Well, it was kind of Delhi. Ended up just knocking down bombs, absolute bombs. 6 of 10 in the end. I think he was on a streak of 4 or 5 in a row. And it was just every time he was shooting, it was just like, oh no, yes, Delhi. Because obviously he's changed his jump shot mechanics. He's tightened up his stuff. Much quicker release too. Pretty crazy. His release is a lot quicker. He's knocking it down. It looked really good.
Yeah, it was. It's weird, isn't it? So he was such an overhead kind of high shoulder shooter, and it's very much more in front of the body, quick release, and it just gives that extra offensive option. If you can hit those regularly, then man, watch out because players don't rotate onto the 3-point line onto him. They kind of are wary that he's probably not going to shoot and he's going to try and get inside and dish. But man, if you're going to knock out 6 of 10, you're hitting it with the best.
And it's not on your scouting report either. You're not going.
No.
Make sure you got to go on because there was an instance late when Bogut basically just didn't. I think it was when he got injured actually when he copped that elbow in the face. He just didn't close that guy down. It's like you just have that, mate. And he bricked it as well. That's usually what I'm thinking about Delhi. So it's good to see Baines get the start as well. I thought he played all right. Delhi obviously crushing it, 24 points. I think it was a game high in the end as well. 24 points.
Yeah, 24 points. Ingles with a game.
Yep.
Ingles with a game high 9 assists. God, he can facilitate.
Times, man. I feel like that's got to be a little ace in the hole because his facilitation is like it's world class, man. It's top level, and
you can understand. Yeah. No, continue. Sorry.
It's like it's so just I keep using the word unassuming, where you're just like, man, how like you're so slow, like you just left, right, you're just slow around screens, you're just moving in, but he just finds open guys all the time. It's crazy.
He's unassumingly lanky and tall. He's unassumingly tall because he kind of gets baseline. You think, oh, he's not going to be able to shoot, and somehow he kind of hooks it around the basket and it goes in. You're like, where did that come from? Why? How have you gotten into this spot to do that? But yeah, the Dimes are crazy. Hit a good step back 3. Hit a really good step back 2 to stop the Canadian momentum. I have to give props out. Nick Nurse was hilarious the whole time. I was laughing my head off at his red-faced antics in the first quarter when they got called for 10 fouls.
There was fouls galore. That first quarter went for about 30 minutes, man. That was insane. I think we went to the line at 6 or 7 times after we were in the bonus, just from stupid fouls. It's like, just stop fouling. We just keep going to the line. And it was inflating our score a little bit. I think they came back a little bit in the second quarter. It was I think we had 29 points in the first quarter, and it was 20-23 in the second quarter. So sort of towards halftime, I think we were out by 15 in the end at halftime, sitting pretty comfortable.
12 at halftime.
12
I think
at halftime, yeah.
Highest lead was 17 with about 2 minutes left in the first half.
Sitting pretty comfortable. 52 points in a half. That was good.
56 points in the second half.
So, look, usually, like, we were going into this tournament thinking, man, the scoring, like, that's where we're going to lose these games, is the scoring. We're going to run cold. We ran cold in the third, like, admittedly, that third quarter, we went absolutely stone cold. And it was, like, it just felt like that, oh, no, here we go again. The Aussies are just going to fall in a hole here. And I think it was 3 minutes until we scored in the third quarter, and I think they'd closed the gap pretty much all the way to 3 points. And I was like, well, there goes your lead. Like, oh, it was brutal.
Mate, there was 6 points in front halfway through that third quarter. They had a 6-point lead. It was ridiculous to go 12 down to 6 up and then somehow bring it back within a couple of points. And then the fourth quarter, they just blast out of the blocks and then leave everything on the court. I think Chris Goulding was magnificent.
Yeah, fantastic. And
unbelievable.
We'd been saying it. Create your own shot. Like he had so many chances in those 4 games, man, to just go create your own shot, man. Take the ball, go to the hoop, like, you know, like cook a guy and step back, hit some shots. And finally tonight he did it. Like, I felt like every time he came off the bench, he's just getting involved, making things happen, getting to the basket. Like, he had this crazy, like, just circus finish where he just went over this dude and just put it in, and he was like, yes. Yeah. Kept going. I think he fouled out in the end as well.
He did. Yeah.
Well, 4 of those fouls were just bad, man. Bad calls. But
there were some bad calls on both sides. But Nick Nurse's reaction. He got teched in the second quarter as well.
I think there was 3 techs. Like in the first half, three separate techs. It was pretty chippy game, but like not malicious. But it was a well hard fought game. I really thought Canada were going to run over us. Because it sort of felt like we were real frantic in the first... Not frantic, but we came out with some real adrenaline, like, pumping in that first half. And it felt like the juice kind of got sucked out of us in that third, where sometimes you don't recover from that. Like, the juice gets sucked out of you, and you're just like, oh, God, we couldn't regain it, boys. You know, the Kings kind of went through that a few times last year, where the juice just got sucked out of that team, and then that was it. Like, you knew that you'd shut up shop, that it's over, sort of thing. But it was good to see Goulding come off the bench. Apart from that, we pretty much shortened the rotation. Mitch Creek only got 7 minutes. Looking down here.
And then Sobe, Barlow, and Glidden, just some trash seconds.
Or -5 as well. In those minutes.
Yeah, but this is what Canada... It was the shooter for Canada. What's his name? Sorry, I'm just going to get... No, not Pangos. It was Heslip.
Yeah, but he knocked down 2 threes. We just, who are you? Like, where did you come from? Did you just come out of the gym somewhere up in Guangzhou?
He played for 9 minutes. Like, what is going on? Like,
he knocked down 2 threes. Was it
2 threes in about a minute and a half? I had a good long 2-point shot in the first quarter, but then we just never saw anything until trash minutes, and maybe that's a Nurse slip, but. Yeah, the Scrub brothers were
scrubs.
They were absolute scrubs. Phil Scrub was -27 on the box score.
Thomas Scrub -6. Yeah, Phil actually, Phil played quite well, and it was a tough sell.
-27.
But playing against Baines and Bogut, like, it's a tough sell, and they didn't have Brissett. I think Brissett's still injured. Wiltshire, who played quite well in those 2 games against us in Australia,
did nothing.
They
didn't hit their chances. 33% from beyond the arc. I do like Kajami Keane. Literally got on for 3 seconds, fouled Paddy Mills, and was yanked.
Yeah, man. I think he got scored on too, pretty badly as well.
Yeah, and then he was in for 1 minute, 1 minute 21 seconds, -7.
And then Chemical Birch, he played quite well. Ken Birch.
Corey Joseph played well as well, but he got fouled.
He's just so old, man. Just such an old man. Where like Joe Ingles is a good bloke, old man. Like Corey Joseph's just like pulling guys, yanking guys. I said, bro, it's the World Cup. Like, chill out, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, old man scrub. You don't need to go old man scrub. Like at least Joe Ingles, like, you know, you have a laugh, you have a beer with him after the game. Corey Joseph looks like he goes home and, like, you know, cries in his shower for an hour after the game. He was just so chippy and just like, bro, relax. But then he looked gassed as well. After like 10 minutes, he looked absolutely gassed.
Doesn't look like he's had an off season.
No, I think he was rushing back from injury as well with no off season. A lot of 10, 15 second shot clock. Corey Joseph just dribbling around, like in the middle of nowhere. And you're just like, yes, more of that, please, Corey, more.
Yeah. So it was a great performance. I think it was one of the Boomers' best performance I've seen. I think it was even a better performance than the American game because Canada looked hungry. They looked like they wanted to take the fight, but yet somehow we just stepped on the gas and took off and never looked back. That fourth quarter was just Delhi hitting 3 in a row and then Ingles hitting and then Baines with a tip in or Landell over the top or Bogut with a little hook. It just seemed like everything came off really well. We ended up on, if you shoot higher than 50% from the field on a night, you're pretty unlucky to lose a game, to be completely honest with you.
So what were the team stats?
Canada shot about 47% from the field. We shot about 57% from the field. They were 33% from 3, which is not terrible. We were 41%. So it was a percentages game. We hit more shots. I think defensive side, they got a lot of fluky shots off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about that during the game. Like,
jeez,
a lot of really tough shots just going down. I felt like they had that in the 2 games we played in Australia. A lot of their offense was just like, whoa, like that was a nice, like a few nice makes there, boys. Like, well done. Whereas us in those games, like, it felt such a struggle. Whereas in this game, like, we were knocking down crazy shots, and it energized you. Like some of those Baldings finishes, and then some of Joe Ingles' finishes in traffic, makes you just go yes. And even Nick Kay had a nice finish where he grabbed the ball, went left, and then went over someone. It makes you it gives you energized, gives you a rev up. And it felt like in the 4 of those games against the US and the Canada, like we didn't have any of that. Like we were like setting up, Joe Ingles, somebody's open, get it to him open, like nice. Whereas we had some more hustle plays where I felt like
I'm wondering if those warm-up games were really just, we'll just go at 70%, boys. We'll give it a crack against the US if we get there, but otherwise we'll just go at 70%. We won't get injured because this looked like a different team completely. It looked like the American team, but less of Paddy Mills ISO, more of everyone just getting involved and scoring.
Well, we should talk about Paddy Mills because I don't think he played that well tonight. He looked a bit off.
He looked a bit off. He didn't really shoot a lot. Got to the line a lot.
Plus 18 on the night. Jeez, that's not too bad.
Got tanked a fair bit. Got to the line a lot. Didn't hit the 3 ball really well.
6 times.
6 times. I mean,
all right. So maybe he did play well, but it just didn't feel like, after that USA series, that was like Paddy Mania. In this game, it felt like Paddy, you do something.
Well, I think when you look at the teams and you can look at the end of the group stages, Australia would be on top on the assist count, 100%. But it's just the way they play basketball. I don't think there's another team that quite play basketball like it. So if we go to some of the other games that have kind of come up, the total team. So we'll take a random game out. Dominica Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take a random game here and look at the stats for dishes. Dimes, dishes. Assists. Also, Senegal are getting absolutely monstered by Lithuania as we speak. So
Lithuania are a dark horse, man.
I mean, they're ranked 6th in the world.
It's the first quarter. It's 26-10 in the first quarter. Mammoth. I just kind of realized too that I'm wearing my Father's Day Thor shirt that I got from my daughter.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Nah, mate, it's all good. 15 assists for Dominican Republic, and for Jordan, 12 assists in a 80-76 game.
With a cape. That's right. With a cape. So how do you think Bogut played tonight anyway?
Yeah, played well. I think he played really well. Yep. Going back to the Kings, that big block at the end just to say, you're over.
Such a beautiful Fiba play, wasn't it?
Oh, it was lovely.
Just kind of standing there waiting. Yeah, no, there's no 3 seconds here. Bang. Thanks for coming.
a lot of a lot of smart plays, a couple smacking off the rims. Obviously, that's legal in FIBA. Just they're much better. They're a much better FIBA team than they would be in an NBA rules comp. I think bigger court. The fact that they can close down, screen setting was second to none. Much better than Canada's. I thought Kevin Pangos probably played the best, but his stats didn't really reflect that. A lot of dishes, but
the problem with Pangos is that there's just so much Corey Joseph. I'm going to take the ball for 15 seconds, and it's just like, dude, you've got Kevin Pangos there. Like, what are you doing? Stop just hogging the ball. Like, it really felt like I'm just going to do it for everyone, man. I didn't play in those other games, but I'm just coming out here to prove something. And I felt like it hurt them, man. Like, it's a lot of, like, dribbling out to the wing and then trying to just rinse Joe Ingles and then not going anywhere. And then after one or two times, you're like, dude, just tuck it back in the pocket. What are you doing? And they just kept trying to do it. I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, give the ball to Pangos. Like, he was, like, knocking down shots. He was getting to his spot too, but he just kept taking the ball off him when, it worked out great for us. So
I think Canada's also a team that's very much like in the Australian situation. Probably even more so is that they've got a lot of talent that's not playing. A lot of talent that's not playing. RJ Barrett, true. Tristan Thompson. I mean, that's a center that can go up against Bogut and Baines any day of the week. So
Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk. I was about to call him Kevin Olynyk. So we got a question here. Hang on, where to go? Come back. The question that we should talk about. What's our thoughts on our best starting five?
I think you play Landau at the power forward position, Bogut at the 5. Baines is, I think, more of an impact player and give you good runs on a second rotation. But it's Delhi, Paddy, Ingles, Landau, Bogut. What about yourself?
I like Baines there. I think but it's either like Bogut or Baines. Like they both give you, like, Baines give you the horizontal spacing, like boxing guys out and doing stuff like that, and then Bogut gives you blocking shots. It felt like Canada weren't really going to the rim at all in this game, and then like we opened up the game with a few, like, Landau post ups too. Did you notice that? Where you're just like, what's this offense?
This is going on,
But it kind of got him going. Like, defensively, it got him going. He looks like he wants to rob someone with that haircut too, have you noticed? Like, I wrote in my notes here.
Straight out of Mount Druitt.
Yeah, he fully looks like he's from Campbelltown. He wants to stab someone. But no, he played all right. So, Bainesy or Bogut and then Landau. Look, it's hard, man, because there's no other real power forward in that team. Like, Jonah Bolden's not there. And the other power forwards really are NBL level. And then you play Baines and Bogut, and it's like, is there really a point to that? You're losing one spot where you might get a scorer. And then obviously Joe Ingles, Paddy, and Delhi. That's a pretty good starting 5, I think. Delhi's like, the underrated sort of things that he brings to the team. If he doesn't score, like, he gets out of your way, which I noticed in the last 4 games and in this game. Like, if he's not scoring, he doesn't try and go hero mode. Like, he gets out of the way and just goes, all right, I'll just dish. And then Paddy the same, man. Paddy, it wasn't really happening for him today, but, 6 times. And then Delhi had 5 times as well. Like, we're passing the ball so well. He had 5 turnovers, though. Delhi.
Yeah, there was some bad there. But, he made up with a couple of steals. Good defense, man. Such a pest.
Such a pest, man. And I think if we had, that spot where it was Paddy was also another pest level defender, we might get a little better, but I love Paddy Mills, so it's, but we don't have that other pest who can play point guard. You got Sobey, arm tats. That's about it. That's all he brings to the team, really. So yeah, just a little post game snack. It's pretty late, isn't it? It's nearly 10 o'clock.
It is.
I've got to go to work.
Let's do a 3-minute preview of the Senegal match.
Yeah, what do we got here?
No Taco Fall, so an easy win.
Yeah, what's is he in the roster, on the roster still? Is he in
he's not. He's not.
Oh, never turned up.
Never turned up. I know.
Yeah, I'm not. Like, you're big on
7'7", mate. I want to see the circus for what it is.
Have they got any NBA players or any Papa Diop?
I don't believe in this team they do.
A couple of Ndois and then Ndai. Mohamed Faye, Ndour, Toure. Nah. They're all FIBA players.
No.
Nothing going down.
Yeah, they're all FIBA players. Nothing there. No. So look, if we win this next game, get a good win out, and put together a good performance against Lithuania, I think we'll qualify for the next round.
Well, this is a pretty
This was the
big
setup.
win, man. Like, this is like to win your first game in, like, you got to think about it with the NBA. It's just you just got to win a ton of games and then start knocking people over like week by week. In these tournaments, they're more like football tournaments where like group stages, and then you got to make sure you're scoring a lot of points too. That's a big thing that we didn't talk about, is a plus minus. Like, if you got a big plus minus, it really helps you in the tiebreak situations and stuff like that. Like, it's just different styles and different rules. It's not just about, like, if you win that first game, especially when you think football, like Champions League, like, you always needed to go out and win that first game because it set you up for the rest of the group stage. Like, if you drop the next one, that's okay. You got the last one to win. But if you drop the first one, it was always super hard to come back and win your group. Even though they would play, like, in the Champions League, you play home and away, but this is just one game each. So, but good win though, man. Good to get off to a good start.
I definitely think that Senegal. I saw Senegal as probably the weakest link in this tournament, in the group stages. And if Lithuania get a good win, then it does set us up for a good showdown with Lithuania on Thursday night. I don't think we'll be potting up to that game. That might be a little bit late, but I'm sure we can catch up on Friday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. No probs. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We've got YouTube, Facebook. Well, we're not really on Twitter. I made a Twitter account, but I just don't really use Twitter that often. It's hard to use. And then now we're on Patreon.
That's it.
My hand gets contrasted there. Yeah. So if you're keen to throw some dollars our way, so we're making more content, Kings fans especially, we want to spend that money on making better content and doing stuff like that for you.
Indeed. And remember, we're simulcasting with Aussies taking over the NBA for the World Cup, so that'll be available to download on off any good iTunes, Podbean, all those kind of SoundCloud.
Yeah, so
simulcast with Aussies taking over the NBA.
Yeah, if you're into the NBA, or we also do a podcast, Aussies taking over the NBA, so I'll throw that up as well on there. That's about it. We'll come back. When are we back?
Probably Friday. We'll come back after the Lithuania and do a wrap of the group stage. But it was just good to get the win in.
Yeah.
And
get fired up. Have a chat about it.
Go strong, boys. Strong.
All right, and we'll see you guys next time on the King's Time.